Randall Hughes with GodGlorified.com, and we're commenting on our Bible reading for April the 18th, and we began with chapter 11 of 1 Samuel, and we read basically chapters 11, 12, and 13 of 1 Samuel from the Reese Chronological Bible. Just wanted to share a little piece of biblical history you may or may not know about, but this 11th chapter is a very interesting chapter in regards to textual criticism and the manuscript evidence behind this chapter. And within the Dead Sea Scrolls, there was another portion of information about King Nahash. And this is kind of interesting because some scholars had always felt that King Nahash didn't have the proper introduction, the way it just jumps into it, the story here. And so here is a portion that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls at Cave 4, Q Samuel, or Sam A, and also apparently maybe something in Josephus in his Antiquities, 6.68 through 7.1, attest to a longer form of this text. And so the addition explains Nahash's practice of enemy mutilation and provides a smoother transition to the following paragraph that's found in the Masoretic text. The NRSV is a translation that adopts the reading. And so this is how it would read. Now Nahash, king of the Ammonites, had been grievously oppressing the Gentiles or the Gadites and the Reubenites, He would gouge out the right eye of each of them and would not grant Israel a deliverer. No one was left of the Israelites across the Jordan whose right eye Nahash, king of the Ammonites, had not gouged out. But there were 7,000 men who had escaped from the Ammonites and had entered Jabesh Gilead. About a month later, Nahash the Ammonite went up and besieged Jabesh Gilead. And so most feel like it was a scribal error that would have occurred due to what they call, and I don't even know how to say the word, it's homeotelution, when you jump from one sentence. So if you look at the beginning, it's then Nahash, but it's hard to say how that would have looked in Hebrew, and they know whether then and now could be a very similar word in Hebrew at any rate. So this sentence starts with then Nahash, or now Nahash, and then this sentence here starts with then Nahash. And so the scribe is coming down and they see that that's what the next sentence starts with, and they're finishing up. And when they look back, their eye falls on the line, however many lines down, that starts with that same statement, and they omit the portion in between. And so it's possible. Who knows? It's not something that's critical, I don't believe, to salvation, certainly, but it's interesting to consider and seek to know and understand. And so not all probably readily adhere to that, and there's always that question, there's the statement that says, if the reading is correct, then perhaps the scribe of the Masoretic text skipped from the phrase at the end of 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 27, which should possibly be, and they've got it picked out and picked up with the phrase, which happened about a month later. So it seems like that could have been a possible explanation for what may have taken place here. And so, and a little more background. And so if that was the case, then it makes this situation seem even more desperate if there had been everybody on that side of Jordan had already lost their eye, except for these 7,000 men who had escaped to Jabesh Gilead. And so here they were up against the wall, and they'd been absolutely terrorized by this king. And finally, through King Saul, God delivered the Israelites and defeated them. And following that defeat, there was the public acceptance of of Saul as king at Gilgal, and the men rejoiced in their king. And then following that, there was the war with the Hagarites, and then Samuel's retirement, basically, if you want to say that, when he appealed to the people and said, if I've done anything, if I've done wrong, then witness against me. And no one could witness against him. A wonderful man of God that for many years judged and was a prophet and a priest in Israel. And he recounts some of the victories that God gave them, and when they followed after God, and the defeats that they had and the enemies they had because they had fallen to idolatry. And so one of the saddest parts of the King Saul story is the fact that he only was in favor with God for the first 2 years of his reign. And here, after that second year, he offered the sacrifice, feeling like Samuel was too long in tarrying, too slow to arrive. And so he offered the sacrifice. And God said, you've done foolishly. You've not kept the commandment of the Lord. Otherwise, God would have established you forever. But now, because of that, the kingship is going to be taken away. And God has sought him a man after his own heart. And so a very sad thing there. But that 40 years Saul would reign, but only really the first 2 were in the good favor of God. It's just amazing. And yet God gave him everything he needed to be successful. It's important for us to recognize and realize. And I believe he's given everything to you and I to be successful. And so I just pray that we make the right choices, that we let his Spirit lead us, that we're submitted to him and follow after him and allow him to use us. And so he wants to use you. He wants to use me to bless his kingdom. And so God bless you.